export networks are clogged and congested. We may be a first-class economy. We have a third-class infrastructure that is not being repaired and that's not being modernized. For the most part, Americans don't get out much. This is not true in this part of our country, but only 28% of Americans have a passport. And there is a level of xenophobia in the United States. There is a fear of globalization. There is a fear of the world, which persists. So can we get back in the export game? I look at the United States as a major manufacturing power still, in aircraft, in spacecraft, in high-precision surgical instruments, in high-quality pharmaceutical products, in that part of manufacturing that requires quality and value add and talented workers. During this recovery, it doesn't feel like a recovery, but during this recovery, 47% of the growth has been driven by exports. That's again compared to 13% in the general economic situation. And that's because domestic demand has been completely crippled because of the housing value decline and because of excessive consumption. We have a surplus in services. Every time a foreign student comes to be educated at an American university, that's an export service. Every time someone travels from China or Brazil or Europe to the United States, that's an export service. Every time one of our businesses helps another country grow in a particular way, that's an export service. This is a fast-growing portion of our economy, and we have a surplus. Several years ago, the president said, let's double exports over the next 5 years. He said it would create 2 million jobs. By our calculations, it'll create 5 or 6 million jobs. America has to engage the world because as the world urbanizes and industrializes, our goods, our services can be sold abroad. Second point is low carbon. Why focus on low carbon? Because everything is changing in the world. The energy we use, the infrastructure we build, the products we buy, the way we build our communities, they're changing because of climate, because of global warming, but also because a shift to low carbon and a clean economy is a market proposition. This is heavily influenced by innovation. Across the world, our competitors, Germany, China, Brazil, want to be first in line. They want to be at the vanguard of the clean economy. They don't see this just as an environmental imperative. They see this as business. In the United States, we've been a bit confused by that, and therefore we have not really set the policy frameworks in place so that we can have a market revolution. Can we play in a low-carbon revolution? We just finished a 2-year study with Battelle. There are 2.7 million green jobs, clean jobs in the United States. They range from parts of renewable energy to energy efficiency and building supply to organic farming. This is double the bioscience sector. This is bigger than the fossil fuel sector. It's half the IT sector, and it's growing. If we could dial down our ideological debate in the United States, we can grow the low-carbon economy. And like with information technology, the revolution that Steve Jobs led, we can lead this revolution. Third point, innovation. Innovation is always the catalyst for economic growth and productivity. I think we are living through an age of technological acceleration. We see it with regard to consumer products, electric vehicles, smart homes. We'll see it in the healthcare sector. We also see it with regard to the collective city. Technology is becoming embedded in the way not we build cities, but the way the Japanese, the Koreans, and the Indonesians and Chinese build cities. They're building cities with technology embedded so that they can lower energy use and be more efficient and productive. It is a $1.2 trillion market. And even though the technology tends to be invented in the United States, it's deployed elsewhere. We've already seen a shift in advanced technology products. We used to have a surplus in the sale of advanced technology products. Now we have a deficit. So can we be an innovation nation? Looking to the clean economy is more innovation focused than the economy as a whole, double the share of scientists and engineers in that economy. But most importantly, the clean economy is a production economy. About 26% of the jobs in the clean economy are in the production and manufacturing sector compared to 9% as a whole. And when you look at the growing high-tech sectors of the clean economy, whether it's solar, whether it's wind, whether it's appliances, water-efficient products, or EV technologies, 2/3, 90% and above are in manufacturing. You cannot decouple innovation and production. We can't be a post-industrial economy because innovation comes from the manufacturing process. So unless we make things again in the United States at scale, at high value add, we will not be an innovative nation going forward. Last piece is opportunity. The last 25 years, as the United States shifted to a consumption economy, what we built were large income disparities between different parts of our population. We think by shifting to this kind of vision, we can actually create millions of jobs that pay better wages and have quality benefits. Export firms always pay higher wages because they compete in a global environment. The low carbon economy literally can create millions of jobs, well-paying jobs, because it's more production oriented, among a wide range of occupation and skills. And innovation, again, is always the way in which you move up the value chain in a brutal environment. Here is the challenge, and you heard it all today. We have to get real smart, real fast. The biggest challenge we have is the shift in the composition of our workforce. We're going from about 25% of our workers being African American and Hispanic to 40% of our workers African American and Hispanic in a relatively short period of time. Here's the challenge. This is what the morning's been about. There are huge racial disparities in education and skills across ethnic groups. In the past, we thought of this only as a fairness issue and only as an equity issue. It is a competitive issue for the country, fundamentally. And again, one of the bright spots about immigration is the United States is importing more high-skilled immigrants, partly, frankly, to make up for these educational deficits that we have in our own population. But when I think about our country over the next 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, compared to Europe, compared to Japan, compared to rising nations like China, India, and Brazil, our greatest asset, our greatest competitive advantage is the fact that we are a nation of immigrants. This is going to refuel us, this is going to replenish us, and it will be a platform for trade and export and the kind of global engagement that I described before. So that's a macro vision, a radically different growth model. And frankly, if you want to create jobs in the near term and you want to restructure your economy for the long haul, this is what the national debate really should be about. We cannot go back to an economy of just building homes. We can't go back to an economy of just recycling income. We have to go forward to an economy where we produce again, innovate again, export again, because that's how wealth gets created. Second part of this economy is that it's highly concentrated. This is the real American economy. It's the top 100 metropolitan areas that, after decades of growth, house about 2/3 of our population and generate about 3/4 of our GDP. And on every asset that really matters, they're at 75